oh, when we're kicking ass in war. I don't care what they say, no bullet waste. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't.
Hey everybody, I'm gonna fix the video while we go here. Everything changed on me when we were running the intro. Looks like XSplit had a little issue. So hopefully I've unmuted everybody and we can start talking, but I'll fix the video as we go. So I do apologize to everybody for that.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Yeah, well, everything's running a whole lot slower because I am running off CPU encoding rather than video card encoding because something puked.
Hey, we had perfect sound, so graphics was like, my turn to fuck.
Yeah, that is right. So
You're a really high def, Mist. You look very high def.
So I'm gonna play around. So let's start talking. Let's into it. Sorry for everybody out there in the chat for the video issues.
So I actually have a question for us and the audience. How many of you actually made it through the entire 2 hours and 2 minutes?
I saw it, and then I saw a too long, didn't listen, something I could update on Reddit, and I read.
There we go.
I actually made it beginning to end.
I made it beginning to end.
I listened to all.
I made it 1 hour and 10 minutes.
By the way, for anybody who wants to know, this is just a giant mug of Tito's vodka, so we're good. I'm ready.
For also the content, we're talking about the bombshell of an interview that was the CCP Hilmar, Falcon and Goodfellas on Talking in Stations, where they asked the softball questions whilst watching them literally sling ideas at a wall, and we'll see what slides down and what actually sticks.
You're calling this an interview? Sorry, I thought it was more a presentation of CCP with some questions and like, yeah.
I mean, it's
and
technically an interview.
I'm not gonna diss on my buddy Carneros because Carneros is just genuinely a really nice. But Matterall, if you're gonna interview people, interview them. If you ask them a question and they answer with utter bullshit, challenge them on it. That's the point of an interview.
I'm not so sure he thought it was utter bullshit.
Like I missed the question, for example, about they're saying like there's a lot of activity, etc. But outside certain regions, there is no much ratting and mining going on at all. If you look at Dotlan and those kind of things, so if they say there is a lot of activity, I don't see it. So I missed the question in like where is that activity then? What are people doing? Because they're for sure not mining and ratting a lot outside certain areas.
Right. I mean, I'm like a really simple guy, so I look at my little eVlauncher thing and it tells me how many people are online. And I look at it every day. I look at EU Prime and there's like 25,000 people on, and I remember the days when there was 50,000 people. So I'm not understanding how this is good.
I don't know either because I looked at the EVE Offline graphs and it does not show any sort of activity uptrend. In fact, it's exactly opposite, right? Plus, I mean, when they were talking about that interview, they were talking about a 13-day window where they ran 2 login promotions.
Yeah, I mean, I've been logging in a lot to select, collect, and then turn off accounts. I've been logging in accounts that I only log in to collect the skill points for. That's not activity. That is me clicking load 7 launchers. Yes, 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 yes. Claim, close, close, close. Go do something.
So question, because Carneros actually had to explain what of course I'm going to forget it, a
Oh, yeah.
MAU and a DA. So how do you take a 13-day snapshot of Eve since the blackout? You've had 2 skill point events within that 13 days where people can log in and get free skill points. And then say, oh, our numbers are higher than they've been in 5 years. And
There's
use
no way.
13 days of data to make that statement.
Well, in their defense, they can pretty much tell the difference between what Mr. Warden just explained and actually playing.
But what numbers do you present to your shareholders and to your boards? Do you present that we've got X logs in, or do you then present these people were logged in for more than 5 minutes just to collecting rewards, restarting stuff? I mean, I
Well-
guess it depends on how you want to.
Well, you could not log in and collect your rewards, and then they immediately switch to a second one where you had to log in and get rewards, right? And do activity to get your skill points, right? So, again, there's lies, damn lies, and statistics. We all know it. We all know. Every one of us who are in data science knows how that works, right?
That's really the thing, is that the login event you can track, because a lot of people go to the login screen and then they hit redeem or click claim and then they log off again and they redeem it all later. But now you actually have to undock. They have to see,
And kill one rat.
this activity that they're seeing, that they're tracking of, hey, did this person undock, is now, you have to do it for your login event.
So,
Yeah, and-
read what Carneros has in the chat, right? The MAU, the DAU mean that people are interested, right? That's a level of interest. That's a gauge of interest, right? PCU and CCU are the big factors, right? That means people are actually playing the game. We all know that there are less people playing the game, and every day there are less people playing the game. That is clear from all the charts. I mean, you can't spin that any other way.
Yeah, and things like this actually pads the numbers and makes them not actually show how many people are actually leaving.
I mean, actually, I have Carneros like holding my hand with all this nerd stuff because I'd be totally.
Yeah, I mean, Carneros, he just has a deep understanding of it, even if we sometimes, disagree on some things. But yeah, he's, I don't know if we disagree on any of this, but,
I think the issue is that they've turned something radical, which is introduce blackout and then introduce a system that gets people to log in. I think that's just so they can prove that their crazy new ideas actually work.
well, yeah, but, and that has been if we look at some of the things that Aerith has said in the past, right? He used to have arguments with him, and I don't know whether he still does when he first got in the CSM. What are your PKIs to know that people are actually enjoying the changes that you're making, right? And that's where we don't have transparency or insight into CCP. And we know historically that they appear to have misjudged or misinterpreted, whether intentionally or not, some of those PKIs, right?
PKIs or KPIs?
KPIs, sorry, got my.
I mean,
Brain
yeah, I
and
remember
PKI.
that from back in my
Yeah.
days of doing SAP, but yeah, nerd talk,
KPIs.
nerd abbreviate.
So
We are using abbreviations just for everybody. Can we say what it is? Just so everyone has access, so everyone's on the same page, because some people are like, what the hell are these guys talking?
So having
More
never
than
really
noble.
listened to Falcon before,
you never listened to him before.
no.
Oh.
I when I read somebody's writings and they're basically prose and they don't make sense, I tend not to want to gravitate toward that person and get to know them. But since he was there and he was just harping in, doing his best Kiss Kilmar's ass rendition of Everything's Great. Did anybody notice that Falcon said that he's doing piracy? He's loving it because of the blackout. Last time I checked, LowSec had local, and piracy happens in LowSec. It doesn't happen in NullSec. So get a life, Falcon. Meet me at the Sun, 1v1. I'll wreck you. And I'll ransom you.
Gauntlet is thrown down, ladies and gentlemen. The gauntlet is thrown down.
That's kind of bait because
Falcon,
he
the
can't
mighty
reveal.
pirate warrior. I got 18 kills and 18 freaking
And this is what
that I ransomed.
this is where you know that newbie has that nullsec mentality, because he thinks soloing is like 3 accounts and just the Titan.
No, I lived in LowSec longer than I've lived in NullSec, and when they basically ignored LowSec and said, "Yeah, fuck LowSec," I left LowSec. But I would much rather be -10 and killing everything than hanging out in GSF. I would.
We just had a 15-month from Mortfang, so thank you very much for your Twitch Prime, 15 months. Someone should invent an unsubscribe button.
I did say the one truthful thing that Falcon did say was that I have to find the quote. I don't want to misquote him because he's so brilliant. He's right up there with Einstein and some of the greater minds. And
so when we think, so let's talk about some of the changes that they were talking about earlier. And Caleb, I know you love resource scarcity and building things in there.
Really?
I think yeah, you do. You love it. I think it's a great idea to make more combat. The concern I have is, are they capable of actually designing such a system that actually works and is playable? Because I still think we have the shit SOV system that they won't give up on, that completely needs revamped. So I mean I'm torn. I see so much wrong with the game, and
You're completely right. There's like the 3 big ones that they need to fix, and they need to fix them really fast and not make a fucking boo-boo doing it. And it's the SOV wanding, it's the anomalies, and it's the infinite industry slots. These are the main things that they need to remove. And if they do that in a way that's actually, well, fair but cruel, I don't know, it might actually start working again. They just need to make sure that when they take something away, they give back something that makes it feel as if they haven't really taken something away.
Their problem is they give you everything and then they have to reel it back because they so completely misjudged it, right?
Yeah, well,
and that just pisses people off, right? That goes back to my whole ease into
roll
it.
call.
Give people a little bit and then give them more, because a positive influence to a player is always better than a negative pullback, right? But you're absolutely right on the build slots. And did they talk about that, or did I just miss it?
He mentions it all the way in the end when I poke him about it a little bit with NPC stations, and then he talks about infinite storage, which I don't really think is a problem, because it's actually a unique selling point of EVE. You have the ability of storing without the fucking nag of all the other games. But I think the more interesting part is if they take something like anomalies and shift them onto drilling platforms, they've made a big change that actually solves stuff, but it doesn't break every gameplay. It just puts it in the hand of the player, as it should be. And I keep saying that for the last 9 years, the original vision of EVE have been dropped again and again, because they've been trying to fix issues, and when they fixed them, they pretty much broke things more. The Rorqual is a great example, Anomalies is a great example, and of course SOV wanding is the horrible example, because it's not an easy thing to fix, right? I don't think anyone's really come up with a really good solution. My personal feeling is they should just move everything onto structures and make it structure-based SOV. Whether that leads to some sort of extreme structure spam, I don't know. But at least that can be destroyed.
What do you mean leads to structure spam? We're
Yeah,
there.
we're there already.
He said
It's too late.
extreme, in fairness.
Okay.
Do you want to see it get worse? Is really the question.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? I thought the dumbest well, we can talk about that. Do we want to explore that a little more? Anybody want to explore that comment a little more?
I had one thing, what I noticed out of the interview, was me. They wanted to make it easier for the new guys, the newbies, and harder for the old guys. No, that's I can understand that goal, but if they want to make it easier for the new guys, they especially don't want the new guys coming to nullsec, because the ratting in subcaps, what new guys do in nullsec, is pretty much impossible with all the hunting and no local what's going out. So I call bullshit on that. They want just everybody to start in high sec, and there everybody, new players need to go, and not like the last few years where we have the new player organization that made sure that new players stayed in the game, and the retrenchment rate is not even worse than what it is already. Then I'm like, yeah, it makes that just stands out the most for me.
Yeah.
So they say that, oh, we're getting all these new players, 16,000 new accounts a week, and I was like, 16,000, huh? Blackout, you need lots of scouts. Think I'll make an alpha. Think I'll flex it, get an omega, because I make lots of yes.
And they have no idea if these alphas are old players or new players. They have zero idea.
No, they don't. And they say, oh, we want new players and all that. Well, the problem is that they still refuse, after all this time, to tie all of the accounts into a single, whether it's IP based or what it is, that, people are just not going to allow brand new players into their corps. They're just not. It's too risky, especially when you're building fiefdom.
So on that subject of bringing people into these brand new corps or whatnot, how about a revamp of the recruitment center? So when they actually come in, it's like, do you want to stay in high sec corps? You want to stay in this corps? You want to go to a null sec corps, whatever? Because a lot of the people probably come in, they don't know who the fuck to talk to, and then they're gone because they're soloing, because Eve solo fucking blows, if anybody wants to agree with that one. So revamp recruitment. That way you can filter people into the places where they want to go. Because if they come in because they see a big, huge battle, they're not going to find that in high sec and be like, what the fuck is this?
Which is why the skill point thing is happening, right? And why the recent dev blog with the whole recruitment system, they've been depending on nullsec putting a new player experience on rails, because the new player experience is horrible. But in their defense, they are actually thinking about this, not just thinking, they're hiring people specifically to start these things and get it more high quality and modernized, right? They just got a job position for narrative designer, so someone that can actually write some of all that questline stuff for new players, so they can teeter around for a month or two before they go on the nullsec rails and get pulled into organizations.
The thing is, you mentioned about players coming in, they see these big battles, they want to be part of it, but obviously they get dropped into high sec. That's why the Imperium and everyone is bringing the big battles to high sec as well. So instead of players having to come out and find the battles come to them. So I think that's a good job, well done for the Imperium and its allies.
So here's some more of this backward, wonderful thinking from Hilmar.
Are we going into the sheet comment?
We should have offensive mining where you destroy your opponent's environments like in real life wars. How the fuck are we supposed to get there?
Okay, I want to be able
to. I just say
we need oil pipelines that are subject to sabotage so that we can just blow them up.
How am I gonna get there? I got 47 hours of AIDS. And fuck, I couldn't deploy my Titan to protect me because I got blobbed mining an NC frickin' asteroid belt. Rip me.
You can't actually destroy resources unless they're being used by military methods. Otherwise, it's an actual commitment against the Geneva Convention and a war crime. So, is Hilmar wanting us to carry out war crimes?
Hold it. I'm gonna fwed it, boy. Podcast. Nobody here has said that resource depletion is bad today.
No.
So listen to
And-
what's
and I will
your
tell you,
comprehension level is
this
like shit.
This conversation, and Eric and I have had this conversation for 8 years, that there should never have been a passive moon. There should never have been a moon that has infinite resources. It should deplete. It should move elsewhere in the game. So, tech wasn't static in one region and all that. It moved around, it depleted, and people would deploy and go take it.
Right.
The problem is also, we just had a comment, shocker, podcast for Lagoons believe resource being able to deplete is a bad idea. But we'll just do crop rotation from Delve, Quirius, period, blind. I know it's probably a troll, and I know I'm biting and getting
he says he just joined, didn't listen to any of the conversation, and just threw something out there.
He's doing the Hilmar. He's throwing the Hilmar at the wall and see if it sticks.
The issue with resource depletion is, it's like, right, we finished with Delve, let's go to Quirius. Okay, we've got Quirius. We can go back to period basis. We've got that. Other people don't have that luxury. So when they finish mining out their area, they're like scratching their backsides going, oh, well, where can we go now? So rather than us goons saying, go, we want to be infinite mining, it's literally a case of goons are fine. We're okay. It's other people who are going to have the issues. Other people can't just simply adapt. If you look at Northern Delve, the structure they've got, even though they're working a bit more together, they're still not going to have that, don't worry, everyone can rat wherever they want and we can cycle around, because the North always still wants their own special spot.
You can't do complete depletion in Eve. It would break the game. It's complete fantasy. What they can do is destroy anomalies and put the boost onto mining platforms. Then you get something that actually will start working. And some of the things that Hilmar talks about will start being possible, but it's not going to be a game-breaking way, right? It's not going to be like this flight of locusts that just noms up the entire ring of Null and then goes home and sits there and waits for someone to come and attack them.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at resource depletion in Nullsec, right? I look at certain things only being available in other regions, which, let me backtrack that a little bit. Let's look at the last 5 years of EVE development, when we moved into FozzieSov, and everything that CCP said moving you into FozzieSov was to make it so you could have your own little section of space and become self-sufficient, right? That was their goal. And now they're saying, 3-5 years later, oh shit, that was a horrible idea, right?
Well, it was because Hilmar was not around. There was no macroeconomy based guys, dev-wise, to actually see why this would break. I'm actually suspecting that goons were fully aware that this would break the game.
Mm-hmm.
So getting back on their structure, the only thing competent that I heard them say about structures, and of course we're going to get drive-by by Horrendous because he's completely against this, was get rid of asset safety. That's the best thing they said. Love it.
I actually
but
like
that
what
is going to
Soth
change
said.
after the first goon deployment, because as soon as we're going to go wreck all the keep stars, and you can't stop it. What are you going to do?
Well, here's the dumbest thing I think Hilmar said. I mean, there was some good, but this is the all-time dumbest. That somehow Titans are the only ship that need to be expensive to operate and need fuel. Okay? They need fuel maybe to fly around because and you have too many, and there's too many and unlimited Titans in a keep star is just too bad. He shouldn't have it. I mean, we got fucking 50 keep stars, okay? We've got enough for Titans.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So basically, he
remember
said
his-
they needed fuel. He said they needed fuel, and I'm sitting there going, if a fucking Titan needs fuel, so does every goddamn subcap, because he said it doesn't make sense that Titans don't need fuel. I'm like, doesn't make sense.
But wouldn't
Any
you
ship
want
doesn't
to
need
swap the current space age for an actual balanced fuel system? Seriously.
fuel. What? Say that
I
again.
Yeah.
would rather
Because
I
I
would
started reading Cornelius' comment. Say that again, Caleb. Sorry.
So Hilmar wants to go back to the days of 2006, 2007. And when he said that, I was like, what was going on in 2006, 2000? Oh, Bob. Bob was going.
Yeah.
So he wants to go back to the days of Bob, which essentially Goons is now because we're dominating the game. And he wants it still to be one-sided. Does that mean that he's admitting that fatigue,
Is cancer,
Bozisov,
yes.
Citadel
Yes.
Spam, moon mining was all bad?
No, not moon mining. He is admitting that
Moon
some of
mining
the
is
things
bad.
were horrible patchwork design. Fatigue is maybe one of the worst when it comes to actual gameplay. The players really hate it, and it's a really fucking bad solution to the whole force projection thing. A fuel-based system would be so much better, and it would spread out assets in space, and it would make it more fun to play for everyone.
It's not going to
including you.
spread assets out at all. Fuel-based need to move ships? No. You're going to cocoon up in your own area and say, "Come at me, bro. You spend fuel to come to me. I'm not going to you." And
So Exofang, back that statement up.
Yeah.
Back it up. Having thousands of Titans is a bad, you know, having resources is a bad thing unless I have them.
yeah. So here's the other thing. So magically only one class of ship needs fuel. Makes zero sense.
Yeah, no. If you're gonna have upkeep costs, it has to be a thing that goes across the entire thing.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's only 10 a day for a frigate, but you should have some sort of upkeep cost, even if it's negligible for something.
Right.
I don't think the upkeep costs are expensive enough. I think SOV bills are a joke. I mean, the amount of ISK that you can make from a region as an alliance it's unfathomable. So, like having a billion ISK per whatever, it's like nothing.
Well, it's not a place you should not put in the sink on something like soft bills. It makes no sense. You should put it in everywhere else because it should not be something that has a high upkeep cost to hold soft because it's outside of Empire. It does not make any sense law-wise that you have to pay Concord to be able to have soft.
So Exofang is still going on about this huge imbalance of power. So let's go through Eve.
He wants fairness.
Go through Eve Online. He wants to be fair, so we'll be fair. So 2005, Bruce. Oh, we're never gonna kill Bruce. These guys are fucking awesome, man. We can't kill them. 2007, Bob. Oh, we can't kill Bob. They dominate everything. Where? 2009, IT Alliance. Oh, God, they got Titans. They're killing us. Oh, fuck. 2011, PL. Oh, they're fucking hot dropping my Ibis. Fuck these guys. Oh, get rid of them. 2016. Oh, fuck Goons. Kill Goons. Oh, my God, they're terrible. 2019. It's the same fucking argument. There's one indomitable force in Eve, and if you don't want to fight it, then don't fight it. Go to Hysa.
Yeah.
It's big boy envy, right? And it's always been there. And it's just bullshit. There will always be a big dog in Eve. That's just a fact. Who it is the difference. And whether or not it can be pushed over. And with the current design, I would say it's pretty much impossible to ever push over Goons. They have to fail themselves.
But that's the
hi
thing.
Everyone.
Where the hell did
South
that come from?
From over there. The thing is, everyone keeps talking about how nullsec is stagnant. And it is. We all know it is. right? We've been saying that for years, but no one has looked at why it is stagnating. Everyone's saying, "Oh, nullsec is too safe," but why is it too safe? How did we come here?
The real simple answer to
Go
that
ahead,
is
Dirk.
that there's no conflict drive. What
Exactly.
reason do we have to go out there and do things? There's no benefit to it. There's no reward.
Exactly.
No, and when I hear we're
everyone
gonna
has
make
been
it
trying.
harder on nullsec, I'm like, do you actually think it's easy to deploy frickin'
Oh my
30,000 people across the galaxy?
The fucking work. I literally.
No.
It's not only
Crazy.
goons. Like if you look in the past, what has been the one thing that has destroyed large alliances and large coalitions? 90% of the time, it was infighting over ISK, and that happened because we had a top-down system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the money was coming from passive moon mining. And a lot of the infighting happened because Alliance A thought they deserved more money than Alliance B. And all of a sudden, you have a huge fight within your coalition. That doesn't happen anymore. Now you only have infighting because Alliance Leader A thinks Alliance Leader B has a weird face.
Well, let's look at where we're at. Oh my god, the Citadel spam is fucking horrible. All these fortresses with moats around them are horrible. How many GSF members on the CSM told CCP, don't do this Citadel thing, you're gonna regret it? Pretty much all of them. What did the rest of you go? Oh no, Citadels are gonna be great, it's gonna be awesome. It's all for the little guy. Fozzie-Sov. What did everybody say? It's going to be cancer. What did CCP do? They did what they always do. They ignored everybody and they said, hey, we're going to have Fozzie-Sov. It's going to be great. It's for the little guy. Who holds Sov? How many little guys hold Sov?
To be honest, a lot of what Falcon has been proposing, and I know it's just his opinion, it's not actual plans, I quite like. I like taking away asset safety from nullsec. You can go the middle ground and just say 50% like drops and 50% gets asset safety. We don't have to go full no asset safety for anyone in nullsec. I like making supercaps vulnerable to subcaps again, instead of just dominating over everything.
Again?
It used to be that a super or a titan can't do jack shit against subcaps. That used to be the case.
A super can't do jack shit against subcaps right now. What are they going to do? Lose all their fighters and then die?
Well, yeah, one super, but what if you drop like 30?
If you
can't
go into
defend
somebody's
30
home
supers
region
like
and
that.
expect a fair fight, you're probably not going to get it. And I don't care where you go in the game. That's the truth. If you go into Horde space, Horde's going to drop their supers and titans on you. If you go into PL space, they're going to drop their supers and titans on you. If you go to Goon space, we're going to drop our suit and, that's Eve. That's everywhere. That's not a Goon problem. That's an Eve problem.
What about actually going to someone's space and they form an actual fleet for you instead of just dropping a few supers and titans on you?
But are you entitled to a fight? If you go into someone else's space, are the people if the space you go into, do they have to form? Are they expected to form?
But this is the point. This is exactly the point. Like, if you want people to be shooting people in space more, you have to incentivize them getting out into the space to shoot you rather than just dropping a Titan and bosoning your fleet away and having done.
Yeah,
you need to incentivize that.
So where's the incentive?
Let me interject here, right? So it looks to me, and you guys comment on what I'm about to say. It looks to me, when I look at the things that CCP has been doing, they're kind of throwing the industrialists and the miners out there as the bait to try and get fleets to come kill things.
It should be like that. If you have a field
Right.
and if there's someone in that field stealing your potatoes, right, you better show up with your dogs. Otherwise, they're going to keep stealing them.
Yeah, you don't look out the window. You see one guy stealing it, and you're like, "Sorry, better put my sniper rifle away and take this rusty 2x4 with a nail in it to give him a fair fight." You get your fucking assault rifle out, the standard
that's the
issue one
point.
for the
Yeah, but
Americans, and you
when
you
you
go
drop a Titan, when you drop a Titan, you're not using a sniper rifle. You're using a missile. That's the real equivalent there.
But the thing is, you shouldn't be expected to respond with reasonable force. This is someone in your homeland stealing your stuff, touching your...
Mist. No one's saying that it should be reasonable force. If a 50-man gang comes into death, of course we're going to drop 200 battleships on them. No one's expecting us to also bring 50 dudes. But this also brings in counterplay again, because there could be another fleet on a Titan just waiting for that to happen to drop on that battleship fleet. Stuff like that doesn't happen anymore. FCs don't even have to think about the possibility of that happening anymore.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen anymore because you can't go very far. I can't bridge a fleet 10 light years anymore. I can only bridge it. So I can't escalate subcaps. Okay, I'm in a region that requires 4 Titan jumps to go across. One region, my region. So if I want to go bridge subcaps or whatever, nobody wants to fly battleships through 50 gates. I don't care who you are. It's fucking.
I agree. But this cycles back to a thing that Caleb was saying earlier, that jump fatigue is a lazy ass answer to the question of force projection. And really, we could do something like an escalating fuel usage. You want to go 10 light years, you can do it, but it's going to cost you 20% more fuel. You want to go 15 light years, it's going to cost you 50% more fuel. And you make the costs to go further and further higher on that single jump.
And that puts a strain on the resource gathering for the fuel. And that will mean that there's an appreciation of all the other things, opportunity cost-wise, that does not actually get resource gathered. So there's just so much emerging gameplay from just bringing in these small changes.
Well, I actually think they're major changes, but it's more of an intelligent change than certainly jump fatigue ever was.
And everyone was saying it back in the day, right? So it's not like it's some sort of mystery. It's just that it was a half-assed proper solution to an actual problem, but it was just dumb. And again, in Hilmer's defense, he was not around. He was not paying attention. None of the old macro-minded guys were around. It was just the micro guys that just, this is fine.
So what you're saying is it was shit management? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
it is a development thing. It's a resource management thing. You have to put your resources where you think you can get the most out of it, and it's easier for them to make small changes that only take a few days to code. But Falcon's saying it right now. Falcon was saying it on Reddit when he was ranting about these changes, these huge issues in nullsec the other day. We don't need the little things anymore. We need a massive reimagining of how the mechanics work, so that people can get back into space and be doing stuff again.
The problem is that they are currently just throwing shit at the wall and then watching what sticks, instead of actually understanding what is happening and why it's happening.
Yes.
This is partly true, but if you actually take away just the ideological stuff from the interview, we pretty much got Hilmer to admit that the main problems are these patchwork bullshit designs. That is something he admitted. Whether he's going to actually act upon it, that's different, but he did admit it. Everything has gone to shit because of these changes.
Absolutely. And by the way, Red Thoughts?
He's too arrogant to fucking back any of it out. I think he's going to look for minutia fixes and, Band-Aids and things like that, but anything that nothing will ever get backed out. Fatigue is not, it's not going to get backed out. FozzieSov is not going to get backed up. They've never backed anything out. They've just always added band-aids to it.
I mean, that's
That's
true.
arrogant.
That's
arrogant
not true.
to not sit there and go, okay, the community was right, we were wrong, we're going to get rid of it.
In a decade and a half of nullsec, there's been 3 different sov systems. They do change things out and swap them out when they have the impetus to do that. And
what did they ever back out?
Well, they have to.
Have they ever backed out a change?
Teams.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they backed out the whole Drifter fiasco.
I still say that was
a mistake.
Coding bullshit, and they didn't.
That was a mistake.
Admit.
So, let's think about this, right? I think, Newbie, that you're probably partially right here, in that they believe that they can make some resource changes and things like that, and they will give us a reason to fight. Just like they said, putting more miners in space will give us more reason to fight, right? And now they're upset, CCP, very clearly, because when I listen to that 2 hours, it's like, oh my god, goons have kicked our ass, and we need to change things so that they can't have a super umbrella protecting their space. By the way, the whole point of SOV is so that I can police my space like I want it and make it as safe for my people as I can, right? Given the game mechanics. Now, we're saying that the game mechanics are wrong.
Just to comment on what Total Newbie mentioned with the whole SOV payment and fees. It should actually be the other way around. What's needed when it comes to SOV to motivate and incentivize to actually have SOV is we need a SOV-based tax system that goes directly into the coffers of the SOV holder. And it needs to be on every public transaction, exactly like sales tax in HiSec.
That's actually a pretty damn good point. I have never.
Oh yeah, their tax system is completely wrong for how the game is.
Well, they try to use them as ISK sinks to pull ISK out of the game, but.
And this is fine in HiSec, right? It's perfectly fine in HiSec, but in NullSec, it needs to then put it back into the hands of the people that then create the actual game content in Null. They need a way to get that ISK generation so they can then use that to all their activities, right? And having a SOV system that means fuck all right now is just such a huge mistake. At least it used to mean a little bit back in the day. Now it's just a worthless piece of vanity bullshit.
And by the way, Freedom Tower.
I think you're on something there, Caleb. And along with what you're saying, Death Rat makes point. Well, if it hurts goons, what's it do to the rest of the people?
Oh, it really
And
screws them.
I'll say this, like I've said it a million times, Death Rat, it's exponential to the rest of you.
Yeah.
And it also incentivizes all the other sub-holder groups, right? Because then you would have some sort of weird, slower price competition. So taxes in different null areas would be different, right? So you would try to move around and vote with your feet, as Mittens keeps calling it, right? Depending on where it's best for you. So you might actually get a little bit of disgruntled foot soldiers that move next door because they don't like the taxes.
By the way, just real quick. So Freedom, you're seeing a lot of buffering. That's going to be on your end because I'm actually watching the stream feed from Twitch live in my on my other monitor, and I get no buffering. So.
Seconded here.
And I'm on DSL and I get no buffering, so somebody actually has worse internet than us.
So I gotta say, the changes to jump fatigue that I heard here today sound phenomenal to me, as well as the enablement across that to bridge subcap fleets in, as well as making Titans and Supers slightly more susceptible to subcap fleets. Could be really interesting.
CCP needs to actually have some sort of focus group conversation with the people that work with this shit daily, because none of CCP's developer have access to actually play the null game because of their whole secrecy thing. So they don't know. They need to talk to the people that use this every day. And I think there's a very unified voice of what would improve the game when it comes to the higher echelons of null.
Yeah, a lot of it is agreement. You know, we may disagree on the precise implementation. That's a game designer's job. But just the general idea that we need something new and we need big changes is a pretty common opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that we need big changes. What we need is changes that are actually designed to work on the problem.
Okay, so yeah,
Instead
we
of
need
doing
intelligent changes then. I'll
Yeah.
reword it to intelligent changes.
So how do you get an intelligent change? Do you form a body within the game that has inside knowledge as to how the game is being played and gets different points of view, and then you get recommendations from that body, and what do you do with those recommendations?
familiar.
Is that how you get?
This is exactly what.
You write them down on a piece of paper and you ignore them.
Listen, this is exactly what happened when structure focus groups were happening. When we were discussing these things, all the groups in EVE, HiSec and NullSec, everyone was represented. There was a lot of really, really constructive feedback, and a lot of mistakes were picked up before they actually got introduced to the game. CCP was doing a really bang-up job listening and taking to heart, and that is why structures got launched fairly good. Price-wise, maybe not, but the actual implementation was really good. That
It was
focus
horrible.
amazing.
That's why we have structure spam. Jesus
Yeah, but
Christ.
that's a totally different thing. That's because of resource shit and because the price range on building this stuff was wrong.
They
That's
didn't
a
even-
totally
That's
different.
what they were told. But they were told that
And
that
their
this would
structures
ultimately happen, and it happened.
and their
Yeah, some
structures
things
didn't even
are
have
gonna
the same features as the existing stations. I mean, they were terrible.
Some things are always going to slip through, but you know that doesn't mean that they weren't generally listening and picking up on some of those mistakes. And the other thing as well is, you know, that they've done this in the past with a few things. The whole T3 rebalance. They focus grouped that shit out for like 3 months pretty regularly. I remember Asher talking about it a lot. And overall, those changes were fairly good. There was a little bit of unbalancing
rebalance
because
basically said we're going to make the Loki good and everything else is shit.
yeah, that was but that's a thing that you can fix later once you know the thing. CCP aren't going
They
back.
changed the look of the damn tank.
So this is my point, Dirk, and you're making it for me. That's something we can fix later. So we'll fuck it up and then we'll fix it later. The problem is later never comes with CCP.
That is a big issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we fucked it up. We fucked up all the T3s except for the Loki. The Loki's good. Loki great. Mimitar Rust, yay. The rest of them are shit.
Well, I mean, the Loki is also worse than it was before.
It is worse, but it's still the best of the three. That's the point. But they haven't readdressed that. Hey, we really fucked up these other three. We should probably fix them. Now we're throwing shit on the wall with blackouts, and we don't really know what direction we're going, but we're gonna find a direction.
Well, I think
That's how I feel things are right now in CCP.
There's a lot of issues in game with micro stuff that needs to be tweaked and balanced, sure. But the fact that they are going in there and pushing things that change the meta of the game on the high level and potentially changes the macroeconomics of the game, this is a good direction because we've been screaming for this for ages and they've not done fuck all. Blackout is maybe not that important, but it's a big step for them.
All right, Caleb. So in a sandbox, all right, in a player-driven sandbox, who should be making the meta?
Well, the player should, but the point is that they need to have incentives to do so, right?
So CCP inserts itself into the meta again.
No.
Tell me, where is taking things away from players an incentive?
It's not taking away so much as putting back some of the strain that actually creates the meta. If you talk about something like perfect knowledge,
that's still not an incentive. I agree that the blackout in itself, without anything around it, is a good thing. I like it, all right? But there needs to be something that weighs on the other side. There needs to be an incentive to be a nullsec.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And I hope that this is the first step towards getting things like observation arrays, getting a new design in that makes it really fun to do weird spy stuff again, getting rid of perfect knowledge, instant ESI data, get back to Fog of War, You don't get the kill mail until like 15 minutes or 60 minutes after the fact. You don't get market data until like 24 hours after. Things like that. Force people to actually play the game in the client again.
Well, they're doing that. I mean, you have to be active if you're mining and ratting because you have to mash D-scan every 2 seconds. And you know, having blackout in a system that's 300 AU across and you only have a 14 AU scan is kind of stupid. So should not D-scan be increased in these ginormous systems that are in E?
Yes, D-scan needs to be fixed. I think
it needs a lot of fixes. I mean, structures. I deal with structures every frickin' day, and I hate structures. I think they're the dumbest things ever. But why should it be that, you know, if you want conflict, then anchoring a structure here in Delve should be the exact same as anchoring a structure in Branch. It should have the same time, the same schedule, the same everything. And then you'll get some conflict. Then you'll get some people coming in, you know, hey, I'm going to go into your system. I'm going to drop a fort. And it's only going to take a day to anchor.
I love this
but
comment.
No, it takes 7 fucking days.
I really love this comment in Twitch chat that faction warfare needs to be fixed and nothing else. Like, way to show a lack of imagination there, dude. Good.
Hey, faction warfare sucks.
Faction warfare does suck, but to say it's the only thing.
For 7-8 years. No, it's not the only thing, but they're making this big, huge push at nullsec right now. You know, I mean,
well, they're making
get rid
a
of
push
SOV.
in nullsec.
What is the point of SOV other than being able to put up a jump? Why not just get rid of SOV and you know, you don't have your name on the territory anymore, and you can put up a jump bridge if there's not one in there. You want conflict? Get rid of SOV. Just get rid of it. No SOV.
He was here and then he disappeared again.
Who? What? Huh?
Horrendous just popped in and then ran away.
He probably. I didn't even hear what he said.
Probably had a meeting. I didn't hear what he said.
I'm good at that, Dirk.
Running away.
Showing up, saying something, vanishing, you know.
Can you quit showing off your pussy, RJ?
Oh.
My co-pilot. Tired.
I've lost control of the show. It's over.
And what kind of smart things are you going to say today, Aaron?
I think
I don't know.
he drove by again.
Smart last night.
You what? Last night?
I kind of used up all my smart last night. I had to deal with 2 Dirks at once. It was weird.
Did you?
That was double Dirking.
Wow.
Did you stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, Arendis?
No, I got stuck in a circle, Dirk.
See, that's your problem.
He loved it, really.
It was an Eiffel Tower.
There's one thing that CCP is doing well, and this is, I would controversially think it's worth a golf clap, is that they're introducing communal fits into the.
Yes, that's going to be fun, especially if players do third-party stuff with that.
Okay, what do you mean by communal fits?
So if you can test this on Sissy, it's live on Sissy now. You go on and there is communal fits, so fits that have been submitted. It says who submitted them on the forum. I would actually.
Oh yeah, that won't be abused at all.
No.
Okay, so they're putting. Hang on, hold up. So they're putting in certain approved iterations of the community fittings that have been on the forum for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're curating fits.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
The issue is that if you've played through the new player experience any time, and if you just play it on the grounds of do what you're told, not like, oh, I know I need to fit this.
You're not going to have any clue what the hell you're doing, and your fit is going to be this hideous Frankenship that just makes you want to shoot yourself in the head.
Yeah. You finished your tutorial and combat missions, you go to do level 1 missions, and you're like in a Merlin with shield booster and an armor rep, because that's what you've been given, with
That's
a
right.
web.
I'm in a
and
rifter
a
with an
missile launcher.
autocannon, an artillery, a mining laser,
Missile launcher,
dual tank,
missile launcher. Dual,
and
triple
no
tank.
rigs, and no rigs.
The thing that I'm really concerned about with the community fittings thing, though, is who's curating these? Like, which idiot is curating these? Because
I'm
if
just
it's somebody at
bringing them up
CCP, it's going to be somebody with no fucking clue what he's.
Can you imagine the fun Mini, True, and Black
wait.
Hand are going to have creating all these wonderful fits?
It doesn't matter. You can't. No, see, that's just it. You can't. First off, the way the community fittings in the forum works is they advertise, okay, let's do this ship, and then people can throw shit at the wall, and there'll be some critique, and eventually they'll settle on, okay, out of all of the ones you guys have put in, these are the ones that don't look retarded.
Yeah, but then
really,
here's what
it's
happens.
not-
6 months later, they do a
Absolutely,
fucking rebalance,
Lila.
and now they make
Right.
no
6 months later,
sense.
6 months later, they've changed the meta, and oh my god, none of these fits work. That's going to be a real issue.
Well, then
That's going to be so much worse than just who's curating, because they're not going to keep an eye on that stuff.
No, and then
So-
there's just going to be a bunch of shit in there. And even if they do, now CCP has to pay somebody to do shit that they shouldn't have to do.
So, just an example of some of the fits. You've got the Venture, which has a starter mining fit and then a Tech 1 mining fit. The starter has 2 minor ones, an afterburner shield extender scanner, and a nanoframe stabilizer.
Can
The
I
Tech 1
just
was
ask?
with-
What's the difference between the starter mining fit and the Tech 1 fit when they're all Tech 1 mods?
The Tech 1 fit comes with rigs, some defense core field extenders, a salvager, and a
Bricks,
mining
those
laser.
things that you don't need the skills to use.
So help me understand this, man. CCP in its infinite wisdom is out there publicly since Friday saying, hey, we need new people to be able to go to Null and have fun with the big corps and the big alliances. But hey, we're also going to make all this shit for all the individual players who don't want to do that. We're going to create fits because we don't want them to ask their corp mates for what works. We don't want them to ask their alliance mates for what works. We want them just to be individuals.
Hey, it's 2019. We can't assume people have friends.
Oh my god.
Have you met people? You should.
Also, you've got to think if you.
I don't even
honestly,
like
if you
horrendous.
follow-
What the fuck are you doing, miss?
I don't either.
Jesus.
So
If you
The
do,
only thing
honestly,
better
that
than
guy's a
Eve right
cocky
now
ass.
is Reddit.
Oh my god.
if you go through the new player experience and you see what they provide to you by just giving players a little bit of advice, a little bit of guidance, they can then be like, okay, cool. Also, having the communal fits there
That's
helps
not how it
gives
works.
the ISD people something to reach for. It might not be how it works, but
No, what
at
will
least-
happen is people will become completely dependent on that and never learn how to fit ships, like me. I'm completely
Now, if-
dependent on Newbie for
if
ship
they-
fits.
if they leave the communal fits in the hands of ISD, okay, if they give the ISD the ability to curate that, to say, okay, this is out of date because of the changes, let's flag this and we need to get it reviewed and updated, I think that'll work pretty well. As far as whether or not it will inspire people to be reliant on the tool they provide rather than learning how to do it themselves, yes, some people will be like that. Other people will be like the jackass in my old Wormhole Corp who used to look for ways to make the most ridiculous fits possible and then make them work. And that guy, honestly, there are worse fates than ending up like that guy in Eve, but I can't think of many. Because he wound up stuck in some shit role in some fucking nullsec group, going on places like Push to Talk and bitching about shit like this.
Hey.
Well, if you're not on Push to Talk bitching, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that's it. So I do want to.
I'm gonna go drink some wine with Carneros.
Absolutely, Carneros, you're coming to Vegas, right? Just a quick shout out to, let me see if I scroll back here a little bit and get them all. We certainly had Jaeger, whatever. It's too small print for my old eyes. Thank you for the follow. And Bart Ghost, he did do his 15-month sub, so thank you very much for that sub. We do appreciate that.
Jagerbring.
Oh.
Jagerbring or something.
I do have a meeting to go to, though, so I will catch you guys later.
Later.
So we've got. Oh, hey, we're 1 minute over.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. What do FC? I'm 1 minute over.
One last things and
One
end it
last
on
thing
the
we're out here. Because I gotta go. I gotta hightail it out of here to Steel City, Vegas.
Yes,
Or
you're going to Steel
City
Invasion.
Eve. Steel City Eve. I'm going to hang out with Rix, Javis, and
I'm just
a
not
couple
making
goons and
that
a bunch of other
5-hour drive today.
You should have. Well, but we couldn't because I really wasn't supposed to. So everybody knows I wasn't really actually supposed to be here this weekend. It was supposed to be a college thing with my son, which ended up getting nixed. So I am here, and that enables me now to go to Steel City Eve. So I should stop by Permanis and bring him Permani sandwiches, but I won't.
Oh,
I'm gonna bring
have a-
3. I'm bringing 3. There are 2 other goons there, so pastrami around, hot pastrami for everybody. Be fantastic. All right, let's do one last thing. Let's go around. Let's start with the folks who are not on video. I'm gonna just go straight down the list. That means Caleb, you are first.
What?
One
Am I
last
supposed
thing.
to?
One
Nah,
last thing. One last
we
comment.
covered everything. Just don't shit on Hilmer, please. He's just trying to get back in the game.
Clearly, you have not been involved in the private conversation between Newbie and I, which shall not be discussed publicly, but we'll fill you in later. Yeah, we'll fill you in later. We're going to shit all over Hilmar because his ideas are stupid and bad. Okay. Dirk, you're up.
Yeah, I think that some of the stuff in that interview was quite interesting. Some of it was just plain stupid. That's kind of been the big thing today. I just hope CCP start listening again at some point. Please start just listening.
Yes, yeah, go ahead. Soth, you still alive?
Yep.
Are you angry?
No, not necessarily.
Makes me sad.
That's a lie. You were always angry.
But a few people in my fleet yesterday thought that I'm Russian, so vodka, nullsec vodka.
Vodka, nullsec gate.
You know what my Russian wife sounds like? Exactly like every other American.
She sounds like you, but with a girl's voice.
She's much nicer than I am.
She is.
Alrighty, let's go around here. RJ.
So I couldn't get my foot in the conversation earlier because it was moving so fast.
I thought it had to do with your fragrance selection today.
Yeah, my fragrance is great. But when it came on to like everything should have fuel and so on and so forth, wherever there is a game in existence where you can run out of fuel, die, and suffocate, and I think it would actually be kind of fun because I've actually run out of fuel, die, and suffocate before, and I laughed my ass off when it happened, and that's Elite. That's Elite Dangerous does that already. May not be a good, bigger game, but I'd welcome that because you could imagine, hey, this dude just died in his ship out in the middle of space. Oh look, Salvager guy comes along. Oop, my ship, collect corpse.
Alrighty. Missed.
They said a lot of things during the conversation. It'll be interesting to see if any of them manifest into any upcoming changes and what else they look to experiment for. Because at the end of the day, they look like they're fudging the numbers to get green light to push for more experiments, and I think they're going to have that. So yeah, I look forward to seeing what their lab cooks up next.
Alrighty. Newbie.
I'm looking forward to my Eve vacation. So they want to throw shit, if CCP really wants to throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks, I have 2 changes you need to do with the first one is limit the amount of structures that can be in a system. And the second one is get rid of the stupid ass 10-minute fucking Sino.
Oh.
It's dumb. Make it 5 minutes for a regular Sino, 2 minutes for a recon Sino, and 30 seconds for a co-op Sino, and stop this 10-minute fucking waste of my time 50 times a day.
Can I ask something before I do one last thing? Can I have a question to the group? Why was a Sino built to be 5 or 10 minutes depending on your ship? Why wasn't it turn it on and turn it off? Why, I don't know.
Is it so you light the Sino, you then go, I've lit the Sino, can't see the Sino. Well, I've lit it. Are you in the right fleet? Oh, I'm not in the right fleet. Leave fleet. Oh, I've gotta join this fleet. There we go.
You don't know.
I don't know. Why doesn't a Sino just turn on, turn off? Why
I
is
think
it that
turn
way?
on, turn off is quite powerful because you can literally just, whoop, and then, especially if you're using a very big toy to light the Sino.
I mean, I've just gotten to the point where I just blow myself up when I light a Sino now because, you know, with Blackout you can no longer use beacons. Glad we spent all the money on that infrastructure. You know, I mean, it's like, just, I don't know,
use
whatever.
beacon.
Get rid of Sinos. Get rid of Sinos. There you go. Titans and Supers have to gate everywhere. No Sinos. That's a great idea.
I mean, today we had a test thread jump to the 1-day Q beacon. That was quite funny.
Ooh. Did it go boom?
Well, if you've noticed, goons are so bad, we actually had to turn it off that you can't jump to the... Only newts can jump to that.
Or we're so good that we figured out a way to abuse them because people are...
I don't know.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter what CCP does because goons, I mean, we're pretty dumb, but we have some really intelligent people in this alliance that come up with some crazy ass shit, and we're going to adapt no matter what they do. So until they figure out that, you know, maybe they should let the players determine their destiny rather than trying to interject themselves, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
So here's my one last thing. So a number of the things that were said by Hilmar were great. I think Falcon needs a community service lesson in how to talk to people, especially on public forums. You know, being a dick does not endear you to the community. With his little comment of, you know, enjoy the changes to the guy that was just mad. It just don't comment, move on.
Are you saying it would be nice if we had community managers talking to the community?
Yeah, that actually wanted to engage and enjoyed the community rather than hate a certain segment of the community and things like that, or just want to taunt people. That really doesn't work.
So
right?
overtly obvious. Be so overtly obvious about who he hates.
Yeah. And the other challenge is the challenge I think CCP has is, and clearly goons are the target of their current nerfing effort because we have essentially min-maxed everything, and it's hard for them to manage the game, and I get that isn't necessarily always good, but the challenge that you have is if you go in and make the game so tedious and so active with a whole group of people with an aging population of players that need more passive stuff, you're not going to increase your player base. So they really have a delicate balance they've got to work with. And I think some of the things that we've discussed here are far better ideas than I think I've heard elsewhere. That's all. You guys had much better ideas to make things fun. I don't know. And by the way, goons don't necessarily hate changes. They don't like changes that make the game worse for everybody else too, because we want to have people that fight, right? We don't want to deploy for a week. It should not take a week to move your deployment, right? That's some of the tediousness that's kind of dumb. And once we move for a week, nobody fights.
I mean, if you've ever been on the goon move, you will know it will always take us a week to move. But everyone
one
else
of the
shouldn't take a week.
one of the brilliant Falcon break-even things was, oh, Sinos and Titans and Supers can't go to low sec. So your 1 week deployment just took 3 because now you got to go around the donut.
Yeah.
I mean, Falcon also said that Supers and Titans shouldn't be able to use the new jump bridges. Falcon newsreel here, they can't.
And Bard Ghost, you're right. They said they really don't want.
You're all right, Barry. And I said that last week that they're going to alienate the casual player that comes home at the end of the day, wants to mine for a couple hours, and then go, slap the wife on the butt and pet the dog. But that player is going to be history in nullsec. I mean, they're the ones that are going to be in high.
Can I tinfoil hat? Just because I can.
You can. It's your show.
Do 2 last things, right? It's our show, by the way, all of us. Anybody who's here. There is clearly a need to nerf some of the ISK faucets in the game. I think we can all agree that that's kind of a bad thing, right? But I can't help thinking that sometimes CCP wants to nerf some of these ISK faucets because they just want us to buy Plex. Is there any correlation there?
Pretty much. Yeah, probably.
More income?
I mean, any business is looking at the bottom line and ways to generate income. Pissing off the people paying subscriptions to play your game is probably not the best way to do it.
I don't know. It works pretty well for Costco.
But suppressing the ISK faucet is good. It increases the utility value of Plex.
Well, that is the one really smart thing that they said in that interview. And this will be actually my final thing, is that Plex isn't getting too expensive in the in-game market, right? The ISK is being devalued. The value of it's deflated, right? And that's kind of true too.
Right, because there's more money in print than there is being spent. I mean, their change has already made Plex kind of plummet. And that's because there are not enough people to buy it, and there's supply and demand.
To use a phrase from you Americans, it's Econ 101. I don't understand how people could not
Yeah. I said this last week, Dirk. I said it. Watch the show.
Yeah, I know.
They said they would devalue everything in the.
Hilmar specifically said that people don't understand that it's the value of ISK that's changing, not the value of Plex.
Right.
People don't understand that, and I don't get how that's a thing.
It's Kensington economics.
Kinsey.
That seems to be his mantra, how the economy works.
Close enough.
Alrighty, folks. I think we're 14 minutes over, so we're gonna.
I got one last thing.
Okay.
One last. Yay!
We have to let RJ talk because it took him a half an hour to fix his goddamn mic earlier before the show.
Welcome back to Caleb, because I haven't heard him in months.
I've been doing university stuff.
Welcome back.
Thanks, guys.
What are you saying? You couldn't casually play Eve while going to school? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
I did.
All right, folks.
I'm just glad Caleb actually takes school seriously, and Eve isn't his first life.
I played Eve and still got valedictorian and advanced achievement.
Basket weaving doesn't count.
Did you say advanced Gmail?
No.
Okay, I don't know what you said. Alrighty, folks. Thank you again. We will be back same time, same place next week, and maybe we'll be meaner, saltier, less.
Yeah, we love all
salty.
you guys, even you anti-Gurgoons people. We love you.
Yeah.
Anti-Gurgoons.
Yeah, who isn't Gurgoons out here?
I don't like goons. They're a bunch of fucking dicks. Somebody's gonna clip that, right? It'd be great. All right, folks.
Especially that guy.
Yeah, we are out of here.